So, welcome back, dear students of Standard 9th. Today, we'll learn chapter number 14 in science, that is substances in common use. And as this chapter title rightly suggests, we'll be learning about the substances which we use commonly or what we call in our daily life. And as we proceed with this lesson, you'll realize that most of the substances which are mentioned in these lessons, you are familiar with them. So let's begin, and I promise you it will be a interesting lesson because these are, as I said, these are the commonly used substances which you yourselves may be using most of the time.
Substance in common use. Important salts in daily life. What are salts? The ionic compounds which do not contain H plus and OH minus ions and contain only one kind of cation and anion are called simple salts.
Now, why are they saying they do not? These salts are ionic compounds which do not contain H plus and OH minus ions. Now, this is simply because the compounds which contain H plus ion as a cation or what you call the positive ion are acids. So if you realize most of the names of most of the acids, they begin with H, like HCl. Hydrochloric acid is HCl. Sulfuric acid is H2SO4. Nitric acid is HNO3. And why these salts are compounds which do not contain OH minus ions? What are OH minus ions? OH minus ions are the hydroxide ions. Now what happens, which substances contain hydroxide ions as an anion or what you call the negative ion? So they are bases. Okay, they are bases. So bases contain hydroxide ions or OH minus ions as a negative ion, or you call anion. So like for example, if you remember the bases, most of the bases, for example, like sodium hydroxide is NaOH. So you see OH, it is ending with the OH. Potassium hydroxide KOH, magnesium hydroxide MgOH2. No, so all of these bases, they contain hydroxide ions, and acids contain hydrogen ions. So okay, so I hope this is clear. What are salts? So salts will not contain hydrogen ions or hydroxide ions, otherwise they would either come under acids or bases. These are simple salts. Okay, these are very simple salts which we'll be learning about, not the compound ones or the complex ones in this chapter.
For example, sodium sulfate, Na2SO4, potassium phosphate, K3PO4, calcium chloride, CaCl2. Inorganic substances occur naturally in the form of salts rather than acids or bases. About 80 million tons of salts are added every year to seawater. Therefore, the sea is said to be a rich source of salts. In fact, the sea is a rich source of several salts such as sodium chloride, magnesium chloride, magnesium sulfate, potassium chloride, calcium carbonate, magnesium bromide. However, we also use other salts apart from these in day-to-day life. Can you tell? 1. What is the strip shown below? What is it used for?
So what is the strip shown in the on the right hand side? You can see there. We learned about this in chapter number 5. If you remember, acids, bases, and salts. This was the pH scale. No, this is the pH scale starting from 0 to 14. So I hope you remember chapter number 5, which was taught to you in the first semester. So let's see the answer. Then if if wherever there is need, I will explain to you.
Answer.
So as I said, it's an indicator paper strip, or what you call a universal indicator paper strip, which is used to determine the pH of a solution.
2. How is it determined whether a substance is acidic, basic, or neutral? Answer.
So if the pH indicator paper shows pH 1 to 6, okay, so right from 1 to 6, or you can even say from 0 to 6, the any substance showing a pH from 0 to 6 will always be a acid, or there will be acidic in nature, whereas all substances showing a pH from 8 to 14 will be basic in nature, or they will be bases, whereas substances which have a pH of 7 will be neutral. Okay, now understand, the substance which has a pH of 0 is highly acidic, whereas substance which have a pH of 6, acids which have a pH 6 will be less acidic. Okay, so 0 means highly acidic and 6 will be less acidic. Okay, then what about bases? A base with a pH of 8 will be less basic, and a base with a pH of 14 will be highly basic. So what you have to do, you have to find out the pH, you have to take that pH indicator paper, the universal indicator pH paper, and you have to dip it in the solution which you want to find the pH, whether you want to find out it's acidic, basic, or neutral, and it will develop a certain color, like you have seen the litmus paper, no, the blue litmus turning red, red litmus turning blue. So something similar to this, but here it will show all this variety of colors which you can see, from 0 which is red till 14 which is no which is, you can say, violet in color. So depending, when you dip the paper in the solution of which you want to find the pH, it will develop a certain color, and then that color you should correspond with this chart, this pH chart, which you can see on your right hand side, and that's how you will come to what you call, you'll come to know the whether it's acid, base, or a neutral substance. Okay.
A salt is neutral when its pH value is 7. Such a salt is made from a strong acid and a strong base. The pH value of a salt made from a strong acid and a weak base is less than 7, and it is acidic. On the other hand, the pH value of a salt made from a weak acid and strong base is more than 7, and it is basic.
So you have again learned this thing in your chapter number 5. You learned about acidic salts, basic salts, and neutral salts. So first and foremost, let's see what will be acidic salt. The word is saying acidic. So acidic salt means it will be made from a strong acid and a weak base. That's why it's acidic salt, because the acid is strong. So any salt which is made from a strong acid and a weak base will be a acidic salt. Whereas what will be a basic salt? Very simple. Now you can also answer. A basic salt will be a salt which is made from a weak acid and a strong base. As you can see here, weak acid and a strong base. Okay, and because of it's made from a strong base, it is a basic salt. So if it is made from if the salt is made from a strong acid and a weak base, strong acid, that's why it's called acidic salt. Weak acid and strong base, because you have a strong base, it will be called a basic salt. Whereas salt which are made from strong base and strong acid, now both acid is also strong and the base also is strong, then it will be a neutral salt. Or if it is made from a weak acid and a weak base, then also it will be a neutral salt. I hope it is clear. So this is just a revision of the 5th lesson. So I hope it is clear to all of you. You have already learnt it. Okay, I just wanted to revise with you. Let's proceed.
Sodium bicarbonate, baking soda, NaHCO3. Baking soda is a white non-crystalline powder. Its chemical name is sodium hydrogen carbonate or sodium bicarbonate, and its molecular formula is NaHCO3. Properties and uses. 1. Sodium bicarbonate reacts with moist litmus paper and red litmus turns blue, which means that it is basic in nature. 2. It is used to
So if you see, the first property says that it turns red litmus blue. Whenever you get a B for blue, that means you should understand that the substance is a B for base. So you can say that sodium bicarbonate is a basic salt. It's a basic salt. Okay, let's proceed.
make bread, cake, dhokla. 3. Being basic in nature, it is used to reduce acidity in the stomach. 4. Sodium bicarbonate is used to make the active substance carbon dioxide in the fire extinguisher.
So if you remember in chapter number 13, carbon important element, we had learned about fire extinguishers, and we saw in a fire extinguisher, it's a simple fire extinguisher, there are many types. So in the basic one, we use sodium bicarbonate and we use hydrochloric acid. Yeah, if you remember. So that's how it is used. That's why sodium bicarbonate is used in a in a fire extinguisher, because sodium bicarbonate reacts with acid like HCl or whatever to give you carbon dioxide gas, and this carbon dioxide comes out and extinguishes or puts out the fire.
5. Baking soda is used to clean an oven.